The girl only wanted to test her invisibility ability, but just 3 seconds later, she was completely exposed in front of him. Why? Because his ability allows him to absorb and nullify all other powers. This is a world devastated by the apocalypse. A sudden meteor shower brought with it a mysterious virus that turned over 80% of the population into flesh-eating monsters. Only a few people, known as espers, survived. Those who awakened powers became the new rulers. Now the streets are no longer safe, only filled with hordes of undead starving for fresh meat. Inside the office of a shady loan company, a man is tied up and forced to kneel while a group of thugs yell at him. Speak. Who else was planning to escape with you? A man lounging on the couch bursts out. I fed you rats, and this is how you repay me? Stealing and running away. A woman beside him added scornfully, filthy vermin. All of you deserve to die. The tied-up man spat out blood, gritting his teeth. Living under the rule of monsters like you. I'd rather die. I should never have trusted that bitch. Anna. She ruined everything and got us exposed. Anna paused at the accusation, then walked over and slapped him hard in the face. I belong to Lord Butcher now. You think you still have the right to say my name? Regret filled the man's eyes. If I had known you'd become like this, I would have never saved you when the world fell apart. Anna looked down on him with disdain. Still whining about the past. Pathetic. She turned toward the man on the couch. Lord Butcher, what should we do with this trash? He sneered. Trash should be thrown away. That's how you deal with garbage. Remember this. In this world, power rules all. With that, Lord Butcher launched a brutal punch, sending the man flying out the window. His body crashed to the ground below with a sickening thud. Standing on the rooftop, Anna looked down at the broken corpse and asked, Lord Butcher, why didn't you drain his energy using your power? Butcher mocked. Trash like him isn't even worth the effort. Let the zombies downstairs enjoy a nice meal. Sure enough, the undead began dragging themselves closer, drooling as they approached the body. But in the man's eyes, a flash of defiance appeared. Espers, I swear, one day I'll kill every last one of you. In the next moment, he jolted awake, only to be met with a punch to the face. Stay away from Anna, or next time I'll break your legs. He fell to the ground in confusion. What the hell? Didn't I die at the hands of those mutant monsters? No pain, no wounds, not even hunger. I should have starved to the point of physical collapse before. So why do I feel fine now? Where am I? As he struggled to piece things together, a cocky guy in a yellow jacket swaggered up, ignoring him completely. You must be new here. Time to show you who runs this yard. The man mumbled. Aren't you part of the Sudong gang? The guy grabbed his collar. Sudong? Whatever that is, I'm the real boss of Namdu. But before he could brag any further, the man countered with a vicious knee to the stomach, sending him flying across the room. The yellow-jacketed guy collapsed, blood pouring from his mouth, but still managed to shout at his goons. What are you idiots waiting for? Get him! Break his damn legs. His lackeys immediately charged, yelling for revenge. But to someone who survived the apocalypse, these thugs were hardly worth worrying about. Their openings were obvious, their movements clumsy, and their fighting skills laughable. With just a few moves, he easily took down 2 of them. The remaining 2 hesitated, thinking about retreat, but fearing they'd lose face on the streets, they rushed in anyway, one with a baseball bat, the other with a knife. The man's eyes turned razor-sharp. In a flash, he seized the knife-wielder's wrist. The guy with the bat tried to sneak behind him, but it was as if the man had eyes in the back of his head. He drove an elbow straight into the thug's groin, then spun around and delivered a brutal punch to his stomach. Both collapsed like sacks of potatoes. Catching the knife midair, the man pointed the blade at the yellow-jacketed thug. Leave or die. The thug immediately gave in. I'm leaving. I'm leaving. As the man exhaled, thinking it was over, the thug suddenly lunged with crazed eyes, aiming the knife straight at his chest. The outcome was clear. His head was smashed in with a single blow, lying among his defeated henchmen. Staring at the pile of corpses, the man tossed the weapon aside and muttered, Am I dreaming? Or is this just a dying hallucination? His body still felt a bit weak, but compared to his previous state, this was nothing short of a miracle. What the hell is going on? He pulled out his phone and froze. The time and date read, 19:33 a.m. It was exactly 1 week before the apocalypse began in his previous life. This couldn't be real, right? He had to confirm it. He rushed to the window and looked outside. The world was still normal. Cars on the road, pedestrians, no sign of chaos anywhere. A slow smile spread across his face. I've really come back, 1 week before everything turned into hell. But there was no time to celebrate. If he wanted to survive, he had to start stockpiling supplies now. Only then could he correct the mistakes of the past. Suddenly, a mechanical voice echoed in his mind. Ding, host detected. He looked up in shock. A floating display appeared before him. Renickton system successfully linked. Evolution system initialized. Host info. Evolution level, 0%. HP, 9,999. Strength, 7. Agility, 8. Defense, 7. The system stated that it absorbs external energy to help the host evolve and surpass all biological limits. He narrowed his eyes at the screen, thinking hard. Evolution system? Does that mean I'll become some kind of superhuman? The system responded. Correct. Absorbed energy can be converted into superpowers. Warning, conversion rate is extremely low. He raised an eyebrow. So theoretically, I can absorb all types of energy? Affirmative. All right then, let's see if this system is real or just a scam. Without hesitation, he flipped the circuit breaker and shoved his hand into the live electrical current. Immediately, the entire school lost power. Students burst out of classrooms cheering. No more classes. Let's go. Electric sparks crackled across his body as he rushed down the hallway. He was moving too fast. 2 students only saw a blurry shadow zip past them. He stopped on the lower floor, feeling a faint surge of power within himself. So it really works. I really can absorb energy. Then the system issued a warning. When energy is depleted, all abilities will cease to function. He asked, "What's my current level?" A status panel appeared. Evolution level 1. Progress 2%. He was stunned. Seriously? I drained an entire school and only got 2%. The system explained. Electricity is a low-tier energy source. To evolve faster, you must absorb supernatural energy. But it won't appear until the apocalypse begins, 1 week from now. Reaching level 2 will not be easy. Then a system notification appeared. Time until apocalypse, 168 hours. New mission. Gather essential supplies, food, water, and weapons within 72 hours. Along with the mission, the system provided a detailed map of local supply points and unlocked the system inventory. The system space could store any item the host touched, but storing living beings would require their consent. He couldn't help but grin wide. Not bad. Maybe this system really is the real deal. As soon as he touched the glowing cube, the system projected a detailed resource map and marked the nearest supply point. He glanced at the highlighted location, and his eyes lit up. He knew that place like the back of his hand. It looked like fate was finally throwing him a bone. Deep down, he silently vowed, "No way I'm letting the past repeat itself. This time, I'll make every one of you pay." Following the system's instructions, he quickly reached the target location, a large department store filled with essential supplies. There were still more than 100 hours left before the apocalypse began. The system's survival mission was crystal clear. Within 3 days, gather enough food, water, and weapons to secure a foothold. Whistling casually, he strolled down the aisles, running his fingers across shelves. Every item he touched vanished into the system's storage space. But after all that effort, the mission progress barely budged, just 0.6%. "You've got to be kidding me," he muttered. "At this rate, I'll still be collecting when the apocalypse is over." Then he reminded himself, this store didn't just have what was on the surface. His real target was in the basement. If he could get access to the hidden warehouse, it'd be like winning the jackpot and finishing the mission in one go. Sneaking around the side of the store, he slipped into a secret hallway where 2 guards stood in front of a locked door. As he approached, one of them barked, "Hey, who are you? This area's off limits." He didn't answer. Instead, sparks crackled in his palms. The other guard frowned. "Hey, we're talking to you." Could he really pull it off? A bolt of electricity shot out, zapping both men with a sizzling crack. Their faces twisted in pain as they collapsed like sacks of meat. System warning. Reserve energy below 5%. He pushed open the door behind them and was greeted by an entirely different world. A hidden underground club, complete with neon lights, thumping music, the smell of booze and smoke. As he scanned the room, someone rushed over to him. It was Anna. She clung to his arm, pressing her chest against him. "Lu Hao, what are you doing here?" This place is shady. Lu Hao blinked, visibly annoyed. Her again? Seriously? Can I ever sneak into a place without this woman showing up? Anna rattled on. Please, you have to leave. My classmates tricked me into gambling. I only played 3 rounds and lost over 200,000 N. They won't let me go. A burly man stepped into view, sneering. Trying to play the hero, huh, kid? Fine. Then you pay the 200,000 and she owes. Lu Hao stared at him silently. The air grew tense. Anna whispered, Lu Hao, can you lend me 20,000? They said if I pay that much, they'll let me leave. Lu Hao smiled faintly. Oh really? Thinking she had him wrapped around her finger, Anna leaned in even closer, pouting and stroking his arm. Please, I'm begging you. But Lu Hao gently removed her hand. Sorry, not my problem. He turned around and walked away without another word, leaving Anna stunned in disbelief. One of the thugs laughed. Didn't you say this guy would crawl over broken glass for you? He didn't even say a single word. Looks like no cash from him. Anna ran her fingers through her hair in frustration. He wasn't like this before. Maybe I've lost my charm. Another man shrugged. Whatever, we were just messing with him anyway. Then his tone shifted. But still something feels off. What kind of student walks into a place like this alone? I've already told a few of our guys to keep an eye on him, someone muttered. There's something in his eyes, like he's killed before, or maybe I'm just paranoid. Meanwhile, in the bathroom, 2 thugs quietly searched the stalls. Lu Hao saw them through the mirror and sighed. Knew it. Can't meet Anna without being dragged into some mess. He quickly recalled the man from earlier, Zhao Yuchen, aka Venom Serpent. One of Zhang Suodong's 4 lieutenants. A cunning strategist in the body of a gangster. No wonder he read the situation so fast. One thug grumbled. Why's the boss so worked up over some college kid? The other replied. That's why he's the boss. He doesn't leave anything to chance. Lu Hao checked his energy. Just enough left for one final move. Silent as a shadow, he slipped behind the 2 men. Then he struck, slamming their heads together and discharging the last of his electricity. The fight was over in seconds. Looking down at their scorched bodies, Lu Hao exhaled. Finally done. Now I can head downstairs in peace. But then, the cold barrel of a gun pressed against his temple. The boss was right. You're not just suspicious, kid. A gunshot rang out, loud enough for the entire underground club to hear. Panic spread through the crowd. People looked around in confusion and fear as a voice echoed from the stage. Attention, everyone. Due to an emergency, our venue is now closed. Please exit through the main entrance in an orderly fashion. Though annoyed, the patrons had no choice but to leave, grumbling as they went. Once the room was empty, Zhao Yuken monitored the security feed and muttered. So my people are already fighting him. He must be worth it. Good thing I planned ahead. I trust Pajun's methods, but tell him not to kill the guy. Just say I have a few questions. Back to Luo Hao. Pajun narrowly missed as Luo Hao dodged, the bullets embedding into the wall behind him. Pajun raised his gun again, his voice icy. Turn around, hands on your head, and no sudden moves, or next time I'll blow your skull off. Staring at the man before him, memories rushed back to Luo Hao. He began to remember who this was. A memory from his past life surfaced. He had given Anna all his food and spent days writhing in pain from hunger. That day, it was Pajun who had tossed him a bag of food, saving him from starving. He had patted Luo Hao on the back and said, Name's Pajun. From now on, you're with me. We'll scavenge together. Luo Hao paused for a moment, recalling that scene with mixed emotions. Who would have thought we'd meet again like this? But Pajun shouted, What the hell are you spacing out for? Turning back, Luo Hao quickly tried to explain. Wait, this is just a misunderstanding. I slipped and fell into the restroom. Pajun rolled his eyes. Yeah, tell the Fu family I only shoot at random stuff. Just then, Luo Hao spotted an electrical panel nearby, and a smirk crept across his face. Guess my luck isn't bad today, but Pajun is still as clumsy as ever. Without warning, he jammed his hand into the panel. Bang! The entire underground facility was plunged into darkness. A thug asked nervously, Boss Zhao, should we check on Pajun? Zhao Yuken waved him off. No need. Send a few people to look. Focus on restoring the power. The rest guard the main entrance. That brat might just be a decoy. Meanwhile, Luo Hao's body surged with electricity, sparks crackling over his skin. Shots fired by Pajun were easily dodged. Luo Hao didn't even seem to try. Pajun stared in disbelief. This kid, is he even human? Seeing Luo Hao charge in, Pajun immediately dodged aside and, with a flick of his wrist, drew a sharp dagger hidden in his sleeve. Without hesitation, he lunged in close for a strike. But Luo Hao vanished in a blur, narrowly avoiding the lethal attack. The two quickly regained distance. Luo Hao chuckled. Phew, that was close. He really meant to kill me. Still hiding a spring-loaded blade in his left arm. Classic Pajun. Pajun stiffened. How the hell does he know who I am? Meanwhile, Luo Hao had done the math. The gunshots must have alerted Zhao Yukin. Reinforcements could arrive any moment. No time for reminiscing. Pajun squinted, watching the strange lightning dance across Luo Hao's body. He raised his gun cautiously. But in a blink, Luo Hao vanished again. When he reappeared, he was already right behind Pajun. Pajun didn't hesitate. He spun around and slashed with the blade. But Luo Hao effortlessly caught his wrist mid-swing. At that moment, electricity from Luo Hao's body surged directly into Pajun's arm. Pajun convulsed violently, overwhelmed by the shock, barely able to stay standing. Suddenly, a strange sound came from behind Luo Hao, followed by a gas explosion that shook the entire basement. Luo Hao quickly dragged Pajun to safety. Damn it, did I accidentally ignite the gas line with my electricity? Maybe draining the entire casino's energy was overkill. Damn it, I was trying to conserve power, and now I've nearly exhausted it just to dodge that blast. But then he noticed something. The explosion had revealed a secret passage. Well, an unexpected bonus, a hidden path deeper into the basement. As Luo Hao prepared to jump in, Pajun stirred and groaned awake. That explosion, you caused it, didn't you? Why didn't you kill me? You could have ended me any time. Why save me? Who are you? Luo Hao didn't answer. He just stared silently. Pajun narrowed his eyes, then muttered. Fine. Let me give you a tip. Your little tricks don't even come close to his level. Do you even know who really controls this place? Before he could finish, Luo Hao crouched down and zapped him again. No wonder you were in the wolf cub unit. That shock should have dropped anyone. Pajun collapsed, unconscious. Luo Hao turned and leapt into the newly revealed tunnel. Dong Sudong, not even worth mentioning. He's already a dead man. Meanwhile, a thug ran up in panic. Boss Zhao, bad news. One of the pipes in the rear corridor just exploded. Zhao Yuchan's gaze sharpened. Where's Pajun? Wasn't he guarding that area? He's unconscious. Just then, Anna entered with a strange limp, moaning. Oh God, that blast was so loud. I think I twisted my back. Smack! Zhao Yuchan suddenly slapped her across the face. Anna stumbled back, horrified. Zhao Yuchan, why did you do that? Zhao Yuchan grabbed her face and mocked. That brat took down Zhang's best enforcer. Is he your pet? You think I'm an idiot? Tie her up. As two thugs approached, Anna panicked. Wait, you've got it all wrong. Zhao Zhan, I don't even know that guy. Please. But Zhao Yuchan ignored her and walked away with his two top men. Boss, the explosion happened near the restroom. Why are we going this way? Zhao replied coldly. You think someone like that came here for a toilet? No. His target is the supply vault. Meanwhile, Luo Hao had reached the vault entrance. A massive reinforced steel door, tightly sealed. Without hesitation, he kicked the door open with an earth-shattering boom. He stepped inside and muttered. So this is the so-called supply depot, feels more like an underground fortress. Luo Hao stared in shock at the mountain of supplies in front of him. Emergency rations, clean water, clothes, solar panels, and even a fully stocked armory. What the hell was Dong Su planning? He's insane. Without a second thought, he activated full looting mode. Everything in sight vanished into his system space. The mission progress bar surged. 25%, 40%, 77%. Jackpot. I'm taking it all. As he packed up the guns, something blue caught his eye on the table. Wait, isn't that an energy stone? These things weren't supposed to appear until after the apocalypse starts. Why is it already here? Did Dong Su stockpile all this stuff? Was he preparing for the apocalypse too? Coincidence? Or did something happen before I reincarnated, something I didn't know about? He brushed the thought aside. Whatever. If I can absorb this now, I'll awaken my powers before anyone else. That's all that matters. At that moment, the system chimed. Energy stone detected, absorption disabled. Host is currently linked to system. Are you serious? Now this garbage system has limitations. Seeing that, he tossed the stone into his system space for later. As he did, a new alert rang out. Mission progress 100%. Survival preparation mission complete. Congratulations, Goa. Just that stone alone had completed the entire mission. This thing was a gold mine. The system reward was activated. Congratulations. New skill unlocked. Energy conversion. Luo Hao paused for a moment, then asked, Energy conversion? How is this different from how I used to absorb energy through you? The system responded. Energy conversion allows the host to extract and convert energy from any object at a perfect 1-to-1 ratio with zero loss. Luo Hao's eyes lit up. So basically it's a plus version? That explanation is acceptable, replied the system. Well, even if the mission's done, I can still clean out the rest of this bunker. Just then, Zhao Yushin barged in with a group of men. Well, looks like we've cornered a sneaky little rat. Kill him. The underlings opened fire instantly. Bullets rained down as Luo Hao dove behind a shelving unit. One thug reported, Boss, we checked. There's no one else here. Zhao Yushin narrowed his eyes. The storage bunker was completely empty. No one had left, all exits were blocked, and the walls were intact. He growled, Keep your eyes peeled. Don't let him escape alive. Meanwhile, his mind was racing. Just how the hell did that kid move everything so fast? Is he one of them? Behind a shelf, Luo Hao was getting anxious. Damn it, I got too cocky. This place is huge, and I wasted too much time looting. Can't believe Zhao Yushin showed up this fast. He peeked out. The gunfire was intense. Luckily, the storeroom had blind spots. He had just enough energy left for one final move. If they got close, maybe he had a shot. Suddenly, the door behind him creaked open. Two thugs stood there, guns aimed directly at him. Luo Hao cursed under his breath. Of course, a hidden door. Who builds garbage like this? No choice now. I'll burn every last drop of energy I've got. He sprang up, lightning flashing as he lunged at the two men. They panicked and fired without hesitation. On instinct, he raised his hand to block, but a bullet grazed his palm, cutting it. Then something surreal happened. The wound turned into a tiny mouth lined with sharp teeth. It devoured the bullet and converted it into energy. Luo Hao leapt into the air, flipped midair, and landed smoothly in front of the stunned gunmen. One of them stammered, Didn't we hit him? What's that thing on his hand? At that moment, the energy conversion process completed. Luo Hao spun and kicked, sending one thug's gun flying. The weapon snapped clean in midair. His eyes lit up with excitement. It worked. The kinetic energy from the bullet really did convert into usable energy. If only I knew how to shut this creepy mouth off, or am I stuck with it forever? More thugs rushed in from both sides, mocking. Well, looks like the rat walked right into the trap. Don't get cocky. He took down Boi Tuan, you know. This guy's no joke. Please, what can he even do now? He's surrounded. One of the thugs raised his gun and fired, but Lakha simply lifted his hand. The bullet was swallowed whole by the small mouth in his palm, which then spat out the casing with an irritated grunt. He turned his palm toward them, revealing the bizarre, grinning mouth. The gunman froze in terror, completely panicking. What the hell is that thing? The others screamed and opened fire wildly, stumbling back in horror. Without hesitation, Lakha raised his hand again, letting the mouth absorb the energy from the flying bullets. Seriously, it's just two holes with teeth. Why are they freaking out like I've turned into a demon? He thought. While absorbing the bullet's momentum, he casually kicked one thug across the room. Then it hit him. Oh right, this was before people even knew what mutants were. Smirking, he turned around and placed both palms directly onto the barrels of two terrified thugs' guns. They screamed and fired in panic. Bullet casings clattered to the floor like rain until they were finally out. The tiny mouth on Lakha's hand let out a loud, satisfied burp. Grinning, he grabbed both barrels and yanked, hurling the men through the air like rag dolls. I was hoping to recharge a bit more, he thought. But according to the system, once this little freak spits out the last casing, the rift will close. That's fine, better than wandering around a post-apocalyptic world with two rats on my hands. Still, he wondered, does its power only work on momentum and energy, or more than that? As he stared at his hand, lost in thought far away, a sniper rifle locked onto his forehead. A millisecond later, bang, a shot hit Lakha in the shoulder. Did we get him? Confirmed hit. That's the end of him. But then, the sniper heard something. Through the scope, he saw Lakha staring straight back at him. In the next moment, Lakha's eyes turned red. He roared and punched toward the sniper's direction. That hurt, you bastard, he growled. Don't panic. He's alone. The guards regrouped and opened fire again, a storm of bullets raining toward Lakha. Damn it, I was just testing whether I could reinforce my body by converting energy. Good thing I did, otherwise that shot would have ended me. No, Thomas. Who knows how many ambushes are out there? I need to break out now. He turned and pointed the mouth on his hand at the incoming bullets. They were devoured instantly. Within seconds, the kinetic energy had been fully converted. Lakha took a deep breath and unleashed it all at once. One punch sent the entire squad of guards flying like ragdolls. Then a cold voice echoed from behind him. True Duk Sam stepped forward, saying, "So, you're one of them. Absorbing bullets and making matter disappear. Must be some kind of spatial ability, right?" Lakha didn't respond. He spun around and delivered a powerful spinning kick. But True transformed mid-motion. His eyes turned a fearsome blue, and his arms hardened like stone, easily blocking the attack. What was that? A gentle tap. It tickled. He sneered. You think that's enough to call yourself superhuman? Pathetic. Now, Zhao Yuzhen wasn't just turning to stone. His body had grown massive, a gigantic hand seizing Luo Hao's entire upper body. He squeezed hard. Luo Hao let out a grunt, coughing up blood under the crushing pressure. But in that moment, Luo Hao unleashed a surge of electricity. The crackling current forced Zhao Yuzhen to release his grip. Gasping for air, Luo Hao frowned. Wait, how does he already have powers? The apocalypse hasn't even started. Could it be related to those energy cores? Noticing Luo Hao's distraction, Zhao Yuzhen grabbed a chunk of rubble and hurled it straight at his head. Luo Hao raised his hand, trying to absorb the impact with the mouth on his palm, but the force was too great, sending him flying back several meters. Damn it, even energy conversion couldn't fully neutralize that, he muttered, his hand trembling slightly. In my past life, this guy never fought like this. Has he been hiding his strength all along? Zhao Yuzhen sneered, pulling surrounding stones toward himself, forming two massive stone fists that loomed over Luo Hao. Kid, I don't care who sent you. The moment you stepped in here, you signed your death warrant. But I'm generous. I see talent when it smacks me in the face. Hand over your loot, kneel, swear loyalty, and maybe I'll let you live. Luo Hao smirked. You're a real comedian. Once something's in my mouth, I don't spit it out. Not even if you kneel. Zhao's eyes narrowed. Then I'll drag your corpse to Master Zhong, and we'll see if the rest of your crew is as stubborn as that mouth of yours. As the twin stone fists crashed down, Luo Hao stayed calm. This guy's ability is both offensive and defensive. Normal attacks won't work. So he went all in, channeling every ounce of power into his right hand. With a roar, Luo Hao poured every last drop of energy into his right fist and smashed it straight into the incoming stone hammer. The moment their fists collided, a deafening shockwave erupted, cracking the floor beneath them. In an instant, Zhao Yuzhen's massive stone fist shattered into dust. The explosion left Zhao stunned, his eyes wide with disbelief. What? My stone fist destroyed. Before he could recover, Luo Hao charged forward, grabbing his collar and hoisting him off the ground. Zhao gaped. What the hell is your power? It keeps fluctuating. Have you been toying with me this whole time? Luo Hao smirked. Call it a little surprise. Now tell me, where does your power come from? Zhao's pupils shrank, betraying his shock at the question, but then he burst out laughing. You have power and don't even know where it comes from? That's rich. Luo Hao's expression turned icy. Not talking? Then take your little secret to hell. Zhao panicked. Wait, listen, we can talk. It's just some stolen supplies, no big deal. With your strength, we could work together. Seeing Luo Hao unmoved, he played his final card. I'm one of Master Zhong's best. Kill me, and he'll come for you. At the mention of Zhong Su Dong, Luo Hao suddenly loosened his grip and tossed Zhao to the ground. Mistaking it for fear, Zhao's smug grin returned, but what happened next he never saw coming. Luo Hao's right hand crackled with deadly electricity as he said coldly, Zhong Su Dong? Wait for him in the afterlife. He won't be far behind you. Just as his electrified fist was about to crush Zhao's face, He-Jun suddenly appeared, throwing himself between them. Luo Hao halted his punch mid-swing, the electric surge bursting into the air behind him with a crack. Luo Hao scowled and shoved He-Jun aside. You trying to die? This isn't something a normal guy like you should get involved in. He-Jun's entire body trembled, coughing violently. He struggled to speak. Sorry, but Zhao Yuzhen can't die yet. His hand shook as he raised his dagger again, barely standing but still positioning himself between Luo Hao and Zhao. Luo Hao narrowed his eyes. What do they have on you? He-jun said nothing, only clenching his teeth and gripping his weapon with what little strength he had left. Just then, Zhao Yuzhen recovered and began clapping mockingly. Bravo, He-jun, perfect timing. Nice save. Don't worry, I'll tell Master Zhong. You might even get a reward. Maybe he'll spare your wife and daughter. Luo Hao said coldly. Your wife and daughter? So that's how they're blackmailing him. Typical filthy tactics. Zhao smirked. Thanks for the compliment. But since you've seen me like this, you know too much. Why don't you and your buddy stay here and blow up together? I'll be sure to put in a good word for you with Master Zhong. With that, Zhao turned to flee, using his power to summon a massive boulder to crash down, sealing the exit. Luo Hao growled, coward, running already? But what was that ticking sound? He looked up and saw dozens of grenades floating midair. The click was the sound of their pins being pulled. The explosions roared, grenades detonating and lighting up the room like a war zone. The shockwaves tore cracks through the tiled floor. This wasn't just noise, it was structural damage. Without hesitation, Luo Hao clenched his fist and slammed it into the ground, right where he remembered from his past life. Crack! The floor collapsed beneath them, and both Luo Hao and He-jun plummeted into the basement below. As they fell, Luo Hao cursed loudly. Two armed thugs waiting up there? Zhao Yuzhen, you absolute bastard. When they landed, they glanced up at the exploding warehouse above. He-jun muttered, I didn't expect a secret passage under the casino. How'd you know about this? Luo Hao stopped abruptly, staring at He-jun. He-jun took half a step back, raising his hands awkwardly. Hold on, Zhao Yuzhen isn't here, so I've got no reason to fight you, all right? Luo Hao kept walking, his voice icy. Why not just kill that bastard outright? He nearly turned us into barbecue. I swear my kidneys are still screaming. But He-jun's face darkened. No, he can't die. Not until I find out where he's holding my wife and daughter. Then he glanced at Luo Hao's wounds and gritted his teeth, adding, But you'd better patch yourself up fast. If you don't treat your eyes and leg, you're done for. Why'd you spare me twice, even shielding me from that blast? Whether you meant to or not, I owe you my life. If I find my wife and daughter, this life of mine is yours. Luo Hao raised an eyebrow, thinking, wow, this guy's already talking like a rookie war god, even before the apocalypse. Is he the protagonist of some military novel? He casually sat on the crumbled floor, waving a hand. I'm not interested in your life. Thanks, He-jun said. But you're right, we should treat these wounds. I can barely feel my arm. He-jun scanned the dilapidated basement and frowned. This place is a dump. You should get out fast, no med kits, no supplies here. Luo Hao ignored him, snapping his fingers. A brilliant light flooded the area, and a fully stocked medical kit materialized from thin air. As he bandaged himself, He-jun asked in awe, So, this is what they call an ability. Is that what happened to Zhao Yuzhen? With that freaky transformation? Luo Hao blinked. Zhao Yuzhen didn't tell you anything? He-jun gave a bitter laugh. You think he'd share that kind of info with someone he only keeps around by threatening their wife and daughter? Luo Hao nodded, muttering to himself. Damn, I keep forgetting we're not at the apocalypse yet. Still waiting for that giant space rock to crash. After finishing his bandages, Luo Hao tossed the rest of the kit to He-jun. Your turn to patch up. He-jun hesitated. Why? I tried to kill you earlier. Luo Hao shrugged. You're still looking for your family, right? Can't do that if you die in this hole. I know this basement. They might be hidden down here. Let's search together. He-jun lowered his head, regret flashing in his eyes. Sorry, I thought you were another thug working with Zhao Yuzhen. But now, turns out you're actually one of the good ones. Luo Hao grinned, joking. Go find your family. I'll clean out everything on B3 while you're gone. He-jun's eye twitched. I just poured my heart out. Can you wait 5 minutes before planning to screw me over? Leading the way with a flashlight, He-jun muttered. Ground floor, supermarket, then an underground casino, a secret warehouse, and now a hidden tunnel below that. What the hell is this creepy building? A secret bunker theme park? Luo Hao noticed a stream of murky water rushing by. Looks like they've redone the sewer system. Probably stretches deep underground. He-jun groaned. How much longer do we have to trudge through this mess? Luo Hao looked ahead, calm as ever. Relax, we're almost there. Sure enough, a massive steel door loomed before them. He-jun squinted. What the hell is this? Luo Hao's gaze sharpened, his voice cold. Just as I thought from my past life, this is where Zhong Su Dong keeps anyone who refuses to submit. I know this place. I lived here once. He studied the rusted metal details. This door looks like it's been used long before the apocalypse began. Mutant crystals, storage systems, an endless maze going down. Zhong Su Dong, what were you preparing for? Luo Hao shrugged and smirked. Whatever, let's loot first, interrogate later. With that, he slammed his foot into the door. Clang, clang, clang. The door crashed down the stairs, metal screeching, and from the room below came choked, desperate cries. Someone was trapped inside. Hee-jun's face lit up with shock. A prison? Zhong Su Dong is hiding people here. He rushed to the cells and froze in horror at the sight. They were packed with prisoners, mostly young women, disheveled, gaunt, and eerily silent. Hee-jun slammed his hand against the bars. Hey, are you okay? Where are we? What happened to you? A trembling woman muttered through cracked lips, barely audible. Please just kill me. I don't want to turn into a monster. Monster? Hee-jun's heart skipped a beat. What are you talking about? I'm looking for a woman and a girl, he started, but Luo Hao cut him off. Hee-jun, not now. Listen. Both turned toward the darkest part of the prison. From behind a heavy steel door came a faint, rhythmic tapping. Moments later, a pale hand reached through the bars, skeletal, trembling, inhuman. Then more followed. Dozens of deformed limbs and grotesque faces pressed through the gaps, making a wet, eerie sound. The air grew heavy, thick with dread. Luo Hao clenched his fists. We're in trouble. The iron door creaked open, unleashing a wave of grotesque, distorted creatures that poured out like they'd stepped straight from a nightmare, their mouths emitting eerie, cat-like yowls. Goo goo gag. Lu Hao's face darkened. This was absurd. The apocalypse hadn't even begun yet. Where did these mutants come from? Worse, his energy was completely drained from shielding against the earlier explosion. He glanced at the damn shelter packed with helpless women. Hell, I can't just run. He considered luring the creatures away himself, doing whatever it took to buy time. But before he could act, Ba-jun pulled out his old pistol. Bring it on, you monsters! He roared, unloading bullet after bullet, though the rounds barely slowed the creatures. What the hell are these things? Ba-jun shouted in disbelief. Click! Out of ammo, damn it! At that moment, a massive beast the size of a truck charged at Ba-jun. Get out of the way! Lu Hao bellowed, lunging forward and yanking Ba-jun clear just in time. The creature's neon-green eyes glowed, its razor-sharp claws glinting in the dim light. Ba-jun stood frozen. What the hell are these things? Demons? How could Lu Hao keep his eyes on the enemy like that? They're low-level mutants, Lu Hao said calmly. Stay cool, bullets won't work. Just stay put and don't draw attention. I have a plan. If things go south, get the girls out of here for me. I'm going in. Without hesitation, Lu Hao charged into the swarm of monsters. From behind, Ba-jun shouted, his voice cracking with fear. Sir! Sir! Lu Hao frowned mid-sprint, yelling back. What? I'm not dead yet. In a swift move, he took down a mutant, ripping something from its body. A smug grin spread across his face. Found it, just like the post-apocalypse, an energy core. The other mutants hissed, furiously closing in from all sides, instantly surrounding him. Sir! Ba-jun kept shouting from behind. You'd risk your life for a stranger like me, for those captive girls? I've seen this brotherhood on the battlefield. I swear I'll never forget this day. Lu Hao crushed the crystal core in his hand, and instantly, power surged through his body. A burst of electric energy exploded outward, crackling fiercely. Mutants dropped one after another, writhing under blinding arcs of lightning. Lu Hao grinned wildly. This energy's insane, way better than flipping a circuit breaker. As another monster exploded, a chunk of flesh splattered across Ba-jun's face with a wet splat. He stood there, stunned. Goddamn! What just hit me? What kind of power is this? Meanwhile, Lu Hao had moved on to the next, slashing, smashing, and yanking out energy cores like a pro. He absorbed each core instantly, recharging like a living battery before diving into the next wave. One mutant lunged, only to have its eye crushed under Lu Hao's boot heel. Its massive pupil squished flat. Trying to run? Hand over your crystal. No one escapes the loot tax. Lu Hao glanced at the pile of low-grade, glowing cores in his hand. Damn, these things are dumb as rocks. Feels like I just robbed a cheap zombie arcade machine. No energy shortage for a while. He looked up to see Ba-jun still standing there, dazed. Hey, didn't I tell you to go? Why are you still here? Ba-jun slumped against the wall, defeated. I'm just mentally exhausted. Where'd those things go? Lu Hao replied calmly. humans infected by some unknown virus. Their brains are dead. They've become creatures driven by hunger and violence. Call them mutants or nightmares, your pick. Ba Jun was utterly confused. Infected by a virus? Wait, does that mean your power and Zhao Yu's genes come from the same thing? Lu Hao thought, technically, yeah, but saying the power comes from a virus is a one-way ticket to the gallows. But hold on, why were mutants showing up now, before the outbreak even started? And those energy cores, was Rong Shudong running some secret lab? Ba Jun's eyes widened in horror. Wait, you mean those monsters were once the girls locked in those cells? Then, like a bolt of lightning, he remembered his wife and daughter. No, don't tell me. Lu Hao looked at him for a few seconds before saying, the room ahead is probably a lab. If you're that worried, go check it out yourself, but don't overthink it. If Rong Shudong is using them as leverage, he wouldn't risk turning them into monsters. They stepped into the next room, where large glass tanks lined the walls, filled with glowing green liquid. In the distance, a large pool bubbled ominously. Lu Hao narrowed his eyes. So they're artificial. That explains why all those mutant cores were defective. Rong Shudong, you absolute madman. Where'd you get this much mutant serum? Black Ops? Underground military research lab? Suddenly, Ba Jun rushed toward one of the tanks. There's someone in there. Lu Hao shouted. Don't touch the green stuff. It's probably contagious. But before he could say more, Lu Hao froze. The person inside the tank had opened their eyes. Ba Jun flinched, instinctively stepping back. Inside the tank, the woman suddenly slammed against the glass, instantly cracking it like a spiderweb. In a flash, she burst out like a predator. Before Ba Jun could react, a brutal kick sent him flying toward the bubbling green pool. Lu Hao yelled, "Hey, you lunatic!" But mid-sentence, he froze as if struck by lightning. Wait, I know her. The Ice Queen, Shen Qingwei. Memories from his past life came flooding back. The last time he saw her was during a brutal monster assault. The members of the Soaring Eagle mercenary band were holding the front line, fighting fiercely against a wave of mutated beasts. Their leader, Xiaozhan Tian, an A-rank strength-type ability user, was shouting orders while swinging his weapon to hold the defensive line. If you retreat now, you'll be Monster Chow, he bellowed. Any word from command? One of the soldiers replied, voice trembling. They said, hold on a bit longer. Reinforcements are on the way. Xiaozhan Tian exploded, veins bulging on his forehead. Still no reinforcements? What? They want us to die face down in monster dung. All they say is hold the line. Damn it, this is a beast tide, not some bar brawl. Just then, a blinding green light shot down from the sky, striking the heart of the monster horde. With an earth-shattering explosion, the entire swarm was obliterated, their corpses vaporizing into ash, leaving behind a silent crater. Leader, look up, a soldier shouted. Well, damn, not bad, right on time. Descending slowly on a trail of frost was a breathtakingly beautiful woman with flowing turquoise hair and a dangerously curvaceous figure. In her hand gleamed a sword forged entirely of ice. A mercenary muttered, Wait, they only sent her? Just one woman. Another smacked the back of his head. You want to die here? I can't believe those old fossils let her out. Wait, is that her? The legendary Ice Queen, Shen Qingwei. One strike, and an entire mutant battalion was gone. This was the presence of an S-rank ability user. The mercenaries were reinvigorated. Hell yeah, we're saved. Hovering mid-air, Shen Qingwei surveyed the battlefield with icy calm, but deep inside, something felt off. They can handle the rest, but why did this beast tide get so close to the base? Something's wrong. Suddenly, a heart-wrenching scream pierced the air. Whirling around, she saw a towering mutant clutching a writhing human in its claws, crushing him like a toy. She shot forward, her sword flashing as she drove it into the creature's chest, only for it to freeze solid mid-strike. Half its face, the pressure it's giving off is terrifying. She called to the mercenaries behind her. You can't handle this one. Retreat. I'll cover you. Xiaozhan Tian shouted louder. You deaf? Go, or you'll die here. As she pulled back, Shen Qingwei's mind raced. A Lord-class mutant here? Don't tell me this entire beast tide was deliberate. A trap. The grotesque mutant locked eyes with her, letting out a mocking, guttural laugh, kick. Shen Qingwei knew there was no escape. She raised her sword and charged, but with a single blow, boom, her weapon shattered. When she awoke, she was in an unfamiliar room. Her wounds were cleaned and bandaged. Her last memory was fighting that Lord-class mutant. How am I still alive? Where is this? And who undressed me? At that moment, Luo Hao pushed the door open and stepped in. You're awake? I found you passed out while scavenging nearby. What the hell happened to you? He tossed her a can. Here, trust me, can food's gold these days. Eat something, you look half dead. Back in the present, Jun stumbled and fell straight into the bubbling green chemical pool. Luo Hao frowned. That woman, after she was injured, I never saw her again until the end of my last life. What the hell is she doing in Zhang Sudong's secret facility? How did she survive? Just then, she clutched her head and screamed, Arg, my head hurts. Don't touch me. Get away, all of you die. Her power went berserk. Shards of ice erupted like a storm, turning the entire basement into a frozen hell in seconds. Luo Hao's face stiffened. Damn it, is she trying to blow this place up? Is this woman insane? He kept calling her name, struggling through the icy blizzard to reach her. We're who knows how many floors underground. If this place collapses, even the gods can't save us. Hey, are you trying to drag me down with you? I don't know what happened, but can you calm the hell down? Just as he reached her and stretched out his hand, he suddenly grabbed something soft. Both of them froze. Time seemed to stop. Luo Hao stammered awkwardly. Wait, it's not what you think. But Shen Qingwei lost control entirely. Enraged, she unleashed a storm of ice spikes straight at Luo Hao. In an instant, Luo Hao raised his hand, catching the deadly ice spikes. Even more insane, the grotesque mouth on his palm suddenly widened, swallowing the incoming spikes one by one. As they vanished, the ice instantly converted into energy coursing through his body. That was close. She nearly turned me into an ice statue. Luo Hao smirked. Lost your mind, huh? That's not good. I told you to calm down. Before she could react, he retaliated with a bolt of electricity aimed straight at her. Shen Qingwei was caught off guard, her body freezing as the current struck. With a flash, she collapsed unconscious. Only then did Luo Hao remember what he'd overlooked. Jun had fallen into the green pool earlier and still hadn't surfaced. Luo Hao quickly reached into the glowing liquid, muttering anxiously, Damn, too long. Don't tell me he actually drowned. Jun, you hear me? You still breathing? Feeling a faint pulse, Luo Hao sighed in relief, but his eyes narrowed with suspicion. He's been soaking in that weird stuff for so long. Should I pull him out now? If he mutates and teams up with that crazy woman, I'm screwed. After hesitating, he shook his head. No, based on my past life's memories, he'll be fine. Might even awaken some power. Better leave him be. The bigger issue was the woman. I need something to restrain her before she wakes up. But before he could act, Shen Qingwei staggered to her feet, making Luo Hao tense instantly. Sharp ice spikes began sprouting from her arms and back, while strange, guttural sounds echoed from her mouth. Gur gur gur. Luo Hao frowned. Her ice armor must have blocked the electricity. That's probably why she recovered so fast. Shen Qingwei's eyes locked onto him, filled with pure, predatory killing intent, like a hunter ready to strike. She lunged like lightning. The sheer force of her attack made Luo Hao's heart skip a beat. What the hell? Is she possessed? A barrage of ice spikes hurtled toward him. Luo Hao reacted instinctively, delivering a precise kick that shattered them midair. But the relentless assault didn't stop. More spikes flew at his head. Dodging and cursing, Luo Hao muttered, She's really lost it. This'll never end. Shen Qingwei no longer looked human. Her body was clearly starting to mutate. If no one stopped her, even the legendary Ice Queen would be consumed by the virus forever. But electricity had no effect, and he couldn't get close enough for an energy-charged strike. Just as Luo Hao was losing his cool, the system pinged with a prompt. Host may consider unlocking the gene lock. But before he could read the details, the system interface glitched violently, pierced by another ice spike. Hey, can you give me a second to read this? I'm trying to help you, you lunatic. As Luo Hao stumbled back, he accidentally bumped into Jun's unconscious body near the pool. That split-second distraction was enough. Another wave of ice spikes shot toward him, cutting off all escape routes. With nowhere left to run, Luo Hao gritted his teeth and dove straight into the glowing green pool. As he sank, the system interface flickered back into focus. Host progress has reached 10%. Gene lock now available. Upon unlocking, the host can absorb the virus to enhance strength. Proceed with absorption. Are you serious? I'm running for my life here. Where am I supposed to find a bunch of virus? Wait, Luo Hao's eyes lit up. The entire pool is full of viral essence, isn't it? Without hesitation, he activated the strange mouth on his palm, frantically sucking in the contaminated liquid like a man possessed. Shin Qingwei stood by the pool, stunned, as the water began to churn violently. The green liquid spiraled upward like a vortex, forming a miniature whirlwind under an unseen force. From within the chaotic swirl, a figure slowly emerged, glowing a deep crimson as if forged in fire. It was Luo Hao, transformed by the virus he'd just absorbed. His body now radiated a strange, blood-red aura. The mouth on his palm let out a loud, satisfied belch, as if it had just devoured a feast. Luo Hao opened his eyes again, sharper, darker, deadlier. He was no longer the same man. He had changed,